Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. Today's Thursday, November 6th. We're rounding out another great week of shows. I'm Evan Mann, he's Alex Popovich, and this is your place for helpful news, commentary, answers to your crypto questions, and of course, morning beverages. Unless you're watching After Dark, and then it's a BYOB situation. If you missed the show last night, we had a great episode with Andrew Duca of Awaken Tax. Yesterday was like a plethora of Andrews, an abundance of Andrews to keep the assonance going. And it has been a jam-packed week. Alex, I'm tired. Are you tired, man?
Always.
Not like I'm ready to give it up and go away, but we're working hard over here, and it's I hope it's paying off for our friends in the audience. If you've got a crypto question, then let us know. Our friend Rudo was kind enough to send us a couple of pieces of information I thought we could pull on, because we're really trying to get people to start posting some of their own content to win some of this darn Polygon money. There's free money out here, people.
Let them pay you.
Let them pay you. This is a big part of our continuing partnership with them. Is they're like, we want to reach more people. And Rudo was like, what do you think about getting people to do, user generated content? We were like, this is great, but if you're paying us and you're not paying other people, what's that going to look like? So you should get paid. And if you're not hip to what I'm talking about, then Rise Up is powered by, let me read the list: Jito, Unlock Protocol, the White Whale, Arculus Cold Storage Wallet's the official cold storage wallet of the Rise Up Morning Show, and of course Polygon, the Layer 2 network you know and love. Thank you to all of them for supporting our show. With regard to Polygon specifically, right now, if you make a piece of content for social media, for TikTok, I'm talking to you, Cosmic, I'm talking to you, Joe. I said before, could you imagine if Joe made a video of just, yes, I just have a few questions. Like that would be one piece of content. All you got to do is hashtag UGC, hashtag Polygon, and
put on some glasses, open a notebook, and read them the questions.
Just straight up read them. You
great.
don't have to be fancy with crazy edits. All you got to do is be yourself. Talk about something that Polygon is doing. Ask a question. Use the hashtag UGC and also the hashtag Polygon. It's that simple. And we even are sweetening the deal with a little fun bit. I said in the public forum on our community that we would throw in an extra $100 to somebody just in the general audience and somebody who's a member of the premium community for a piece of user-generated content. I've got all the instructions on this post right here. It's in the public forum. You could just search Polygon content on any place in the Circle community. And this is community.rumshq.com. We want you to get this money. Cosmic, I just saw you roll through. You and Chelsea should make TikTok videos with the hashtag UGC and the hashtag Polygon about Polymarket, about Courtyard, just talking about the market and mentioning them casually.
Literally anything. And you will make some money. Feedback on something that could be better. Feedback on something that is working, that's not working. Literally anything. Let them pay you.
Literally let them pay you. And our details on it, plus the form you can use. Here's the other thing, is you should also get some good Polygon merch. You can use the form that's here to apply for, where'd it go? People in podcast land are like, I don't know. Where did it go? We have got the links here. You can apply. They'll send you free merch. It's good merch. And then you can rock it in your video. All of that stuff is at community.rumshq.com. Alex, we do have a few questions rolling in. Somebody asked, can you tell us about Dash Network? Do you know much about it?
Dash.
Like
the ancient thing?
Like that one, I would assume.
Why?
I don't know why, but
that's a genuine question. Why?
Tell me why.
For people who don't know, this is like is it a fork of Bitcoin from, like 2015? It was really before my time.
I can genuinely say that I have not thought about it one single time in 5 years.
Not one single time, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's not worth thinking about. But, me wants to know if we have insight on the coin. And Solom, bless him, the chief gift officer says it has pumped this past week.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Sorry. I mean, I guess the catch-all answer is that random cryptos arbitrarily pump all the time.
That's right.
There's usually no rhyme or reason to it. At this point, I don't trust any of them to be anything other than someone who's like, nah, I'm trying to make some money. Let's do something to make this one random thing pump. I guess sometimes there's like a headline that sparks like a rekindling of hope in a bunch of people who are probably underwater on whatever it is. Like ICP got a pretty decent size run up the last couple days, right? And then you zoom out a little bit and you realize like, okay, it's just back at the price it's been at for the last year, and it recovered from cratering earlier in October, and never recovering. So I don't know. It's so hard I would not let yourself get swept up in a like nearly dead or dormant asset that just randomly goes up for no reason other than, hey, why not? Or some single headline happened.
Yeah, that's a good way to get yourself into a position of being a salty bag holder. And usually it starts with a question like,
is it too late to get in?
Yeah, is now a good time to buy?
And somebody on the other end telling you,
it's the perfect time to buy.
It's not the perfect time to buy. This has happened with lots of old cryptocurrencies. And you just never know. The best thing to do is if you're holding a bag of them, honestly, sell it. Get out from under that heavy bag. Somebody has temporarily lifted it off your shoulders, and you should get the heck out of there.
Well, okay, apparently, so Dash has some use in the Latin American markets. It's used for remittance and retail. I don't know how much I believe that. That would be something to take a look at. I don't know. Yeah, it's up 15% in the last day. What was its all-time? It was like hundreds of dollars last go around, right? Like yeah, like almost touched almost $400 at the end of 21. Went down to like 20 in the long, lengthy bear, and then it's pretty much been flat ever since the market turned back on. It's effectively done actually less than nothing until literally 2 weeks ago.
And to be clear here, as Alex is reading this, I want to address this comment from our good friend Carol. Good morning, Carol, who said, I'm surprised listening to you both making an assumption about this coin before researching. And Alex is indeed researching, but it's not that we're hearing about this token for the first time. How many times have you heard about Dash, Alex?
I mean, like I said, it was everywhere a long ass time ago, and then it literally did not a single thing since 2021. There has been not a single whisper about it. It's not about making an ill-informed assumption. It's about making sure that people understand that yet again, because this happens every day with some random shit. There's a crypto called Giggles that I randomly got a headline for this morning on a AI generated roundup. It was like, Giggles is crushing him. Like, no one on earth has ever heard of that. That's not a thing worth anybody's attention. You look at it and sure as shit, it's a pile of nonsense that just randomly like did some percentage points yesterday enough to put it on someone's radar. Mm-hmm. It's just like one of those things. It's not an assumption because I'm like trying to avoid learning something. It's like, that's a dinosaur. I have not heard in all of the last how many years, I've not heard a single meaningful update about anything relevant with it.
Yeah.
So my immediate knee jerk is like, please don't just see it go up 20% in a week and decide this is my new retirement plan and pile into it. And my genuine thought, if anyone wants to ask me about a crypto that just randomly or arbitrarily pumped a bit, is like, that happens. It's probably a reaction to some announcement that rekindled some hope, or someone manipulated the asset of or the price of a tiny little asset in order to make themselves some money. I feel like some of those old things probably have like lingering shorts, and maybe someone's like, here's an easy opportunity to liquidate something because it wouldn't really take that long or be that hard to pump something like that. No one's thinking about it, whatever. It'll catch people off guard. It'll prompt questions like this, and all of a sudden it's back in the zeitgeist, and people pile into it because, oh, look at that. Its all-time high 5 years ago was $400. Even if it only goes to half of that, I'm going to make a boatload of money. And then that's how everyone gets sucked back into something that's actually doing nothing, that has no real reason to continue to do anything other than it's crypto, and we like to keep rekindling dead shit for no reason. And here we go. I mean, it sounds a little cynical, but that's just the way we've seen it happen a gajillion times. It'll continue to happen, and it's very dangerous to get swept up into it. You don't want to be the one who finds out about it after the pump and piles into it. You're just going to become the next round of exit liquidity, and then you're going to hold a bag and become a community member for the next 5 years.
I have two thoughts on that. The first one is just to put a pin on this idea. Alex and I don't know everything. Nobody does. There's more stuff we don't know than that we do. But
yes,
we were talking about this last night with Andrew. This industry is like small enough that somebody who's been here for a couple of years and has a pretty good like we're not maximalists. We have friends across the space, from, policymakers to protocol engineers and developers. And if this thing was doing, we host a show where we're constantly looking for like, what's the headline, what's the story, trying to stay abreast and informed. If anyone in the world has heard about it, it's probably somebody close to us that's going to tell us about it. And we probably will hear, the Mega ETH. When was the first time you heard about Mega ETH, Alex? I don't know. For me, probably a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When was the first time you heard about X402, that new hot standard? We broke the news about it on the show 4 months ago, probably, when it first came out, when Coinbase rolled it out, when there was nothing to do with it yet. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't say that to be like, oh, listen to us, we're these oracles of truth. I just mean to say like, we're pretty plugged in. If Dash was doing something big, don't you think we would tell you about it? Or that we would at least see it coming and, sell our houses and buy Dash with it,
So for context, Dash is 11 years old.
Yeah, it's old.
Oh, here you go.
2014? Okay.
No, yeah. It's also a partially residual pump because Zcash, ZEC, has been like really living in the limelight because of a renewed focus and commitment to privacy, sparking some really interesting, like very techie debates that I'm still trying to understand. I haven't really talked about it much, but there's some really interesting arguments on Twitter, side note, between like engineers and cryptographers specifically about how ZK is like really not that great. And there's like way better options. And I found out about like 7 different methods of doing effectively the same thing by different ways, I guess.
Graphic means. Yeah.
Yeah. This is my very like lay explanation of this very in-depth debate that I barely understand, but I'm trying to follow up on. And it sounds like Dash has some sort of privacy model integrated into it. So I'm thinking my renewed opinion on it is we're just talking about actually here's a fun fact I did not know. It used to be called Dark Coin. That was before my time, but it was rebranded to improve public perception in 2015.
Yeah, I could see it.
So at any rate, I might have something to do too with just a residual bullishness from people looking for like, hey, this big privacy thing ripped. What if other privacy things rip? Because privacy is the narrative right now.
Okay, and that's the perfect segue, because I want to tell people like, how can you take advantage of this even if you miss the pump? Once again, we are going to DeFi Llama. Shout out to Cvish. I saw your other comment about Sora. That one is super easy. Stay with me. I will answer your question, but I want to answer this comment They said, Alex, don't be like me and become the liquidity pool when we were talking about being a salty bag holder. But actually, Cvish, that might be one of the better ways to capitalize on a rapid change in price. And here's what I mean. We're going to do a little drive through over on our favorite DeFi Llama. And I wonder, Alex, could you possibly help TikTok with a bit of a screen share? I know it's terrible, hard to share DeFi Llama, but folks in podcast land, check out the YouTube for this. I want to show you how to capitalize on Dash or any other token pumping, a new token launching, any token that's generating a lot of volume right now because people want to trade it, whether or not it's going up or down in price. Here's something we can do. We're going to go over to the Llama, and I'm going to go to the search bar at the top where I'm going to type in Dash. Dash is its own network. It's a cryptocurrency token, but it's also the name of a cryptocurrency network. Okay. And here we go. Dash chain. I want to see just quick if there's been any kind of growth lately on this network. And it looks like, in the last month or so, the TVL has doubled from 100,000 to 200,000. But maybe we're going to assume that, okay, this news is still unfolding. The crypto space moves fast, but maybe we're a little early to people wanting. We already know people are going to see that price and they're going to want to get in, right, Alex? You're not going to be the fool who buys the bag. You're going to be somebody who goes to fund the activity of everybody else buying those bags. So I want to see on DeFi Llama, what are the different ways that people can use Dash? That's the first thing I'm going to do is just see what's the TVL like over there. It doesn't look like there's a lot of DeFi happening on Dash. There's Maya protocol. It's like one thing. It's a bridge. Okay. So here's the other thing I'm going to do. I'm going to go over to the left. I'm going to go over to old menu because it's a little easier to navigate. I'm going to go down to yields, and then I'm going to go to overview. Okay. This is going to take me to a new dashboard, and this has got a variety of yield protocols. Alex has been here before as recently as last week. I hope it's starting to look familiar to you now, this route. I'm going to type in the search bar at the top, Dash. And this time I want, actually, sorry, not the search bar. Let me go to tokens. This drop down here, Dash. That's what I'm going to type. Wow. Oh no, there's only one. That's just terrible. Could it possibly be the truth? Of all the pools that DeFi Llama tracks, there's no liquidity pool for Dash. That absolutely can't be the case. Alex, you got any pointers for me being
I mean, this is not tracking this yield thing is not going to show you every liquidity pool.
No, it's definitely not. But if it's not on DeFi Llama, I honestly don't want to touch it. Just for the purposes of giving a good teaching moment. How about you said you found a token called Giggle? Let me do this. What I want to show you is that if there's a token with a lot of movement, whether it's new or it's hype right now, one of the ways you can make money is by providing liquidity for that token to earn a percentage of the fees. Often the APYs are through the roof, nuts, and they're not going to last very long.
Tell me why Giggle literally has more TVL than Dash.
Exactly right. Oh my God.
Not to say that TVL is the end all be all. It's,
for
some things, actually, it could be largely meaningless. And if Dash's whole thing is payment facilitation, then honestly, TVL being low is what you would expect.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's really good. Hang on. I would ding you, but I have to also tell people,
I don't know how to sell this thing.
That's a liquidity problem right there. So let's just assume we know Radium from doing DeFi Llama stuff before. It's a decentralized exchange and place you can park your liquidity over on Solana. And it looks like this Giggle token. I don't know anything about it. I'm making some assumptions for the purpose of this. Let's say it's a new hot meme coin that just launched. In order to play in this pool, you would have to deposit some Solana into a protocol that will give you wrapped SOL. You could swap on Radium for this wrapped SOL. And you'd have to swap for some Giggle tokens. And you'd have to deposit them into this Radium AMM pool. And I see that it's a concentrated pool, which means that it's providing liquidity at a certain price range. But the APY at that price range is 179%. If you could provide liquidity to a pool that was active, I'd like to see what the volume on this pool was. like where there's a new meme coin just launching or a hot token right now, even if the price of those assets drops and it subjects you to impermanent loss, there are often instances where you got to do a little math for this. The APY you earn in the day or two that you're there outpaces the rate of loss as the token loses value, and you can make money. This is the kind of thing that you would want to do with a stable coin first. Then you'd want to do with a stable coin and a major token like ETH or Sol first, providing liquidity so you can see what it looks like. And then the first time you did it with a wrapped token or a token like Giggle or a token like Dash, you would want to do it with like an insignificant to you amount of money. So you can just park it there and watch what happens to it and see what to expect. This is not the kind of thing you sell just like you don't sell your house and go buy Dash. You're not going to sell your house and go buy these tokens and then just throw them in a liquidity pool. Alex, I'm going to stop the screen share here. And if somebody would like to see that, we have other videos on this, but I could probably find a way to log into a wallet real quick and we could do like a liquidity pool tutorial if that would be helpful. I know we have a lot of other questions coming in and you've had your eyes on the chat. So did I miss anything, Alex? Is there anything you wanted to add? And did we have a good follow-up question to Chase on this idea of providing liquidity on a high volume token to capitalize on its trendiness?
I mean, just that it's definitely something you need to look into and read about first, because these things require some maintenance and management. It's not just like a, set it and forget it kind of thing, especially on something that is smaller and trendy, because price of that asset could be much more volatile, which means that, depending on what kind of, like you were talking about, depending on what kind of pool it is, you may or may not need to rebalance more or less frequently. Just something to keep your eye on.
Yeah. I also wanted to, I told Cvish I would answer another question for them. Alex, have you played around with Sora yet?
Nope.
Oh man, we are so behind. I got to do this.
This is artificial insanity.
Sora, for people who don't know, is the GPT extension that allows you to generate convincing, compelling, really good-looking AI videos from a prompt. It's behind those viral Bigfoot videos where it looks like a Yeti's walking through the forest and just talking to you about, how he came upon some camp or whatever. It's my favorite one is like Moses parting the Red Sea and the Harry Potter behind the scenes videos where it's like the characters of Harry Potter having wild parties at Hogwarts. But you can have talking babies, you can have Jesus Christ doing a podcast, whatever on Sora. And the way that you get there, I'll share my screen and show you. And I got this one, Alex. I see you're typing. I don't know off the top of my head if you need to be a pro user of GPT to get extensions. Do you know this, Alex?
Yes.
Okay.
But there are some free ones, like very few, but in general, that's a premium feature.
So if you are not a pro user, you'll need to go to your settings on, chat.openai.com or chatgpt.com. You will go to settings. You'll upgrade your subscription. It's $20 a month to become a pro member. And Alex, I don't know about you, but it's still the best subscription I pay for. I use this thing all the time. And I play around with these extensions a lot. Some of them are better than others, but you click on the Explore tab, and that will take you to all the different GPTs that other people have built on top of ChatGPT that you can explore. There are a couple recommended ones. You can search by category, or you can just type in the search bar. I have typed Sora, and boom, there's Sora 2, Sora 2. You got to find the right one, of course. And this is interesting to me because now there are all of these. I happen to know that this is the logo for the real Sora. This little kind of looks like the character Kirby. This is Sora 2. And now I can just ask it to, start. That's how you do it. Super simple. If you make an AI video, tag us in it and let us know. I don't know. You can make a video of
crazy ones.
You can make a video of me. What I would really like, and I would pay for, honestly, and I think Alex would agree, is I really want a good Mythical Morning style visual bumper to accompany the theme song.
You rise up.
I'm thinking like, a purple sunrise behind a mountain range, and we appear drinking our coffee, and Alex has got 1 million dogs around him, and I'm like, like sitting on the ground meditating, and Will's like, in a pool of money. I don't know, whatever. You use your imagination, get creative, and then resolve it to the logo, maybe with some fun swirlies and some up and down charts, and some dogs and ponies and cats and cows. I don't know. If you wanted to make something with Sora and impress me and make me say, take my money, I would give it to you if that's what you did. And then cool. If you turned around and did one for Rise Up After Dark, I don't even know what I'd do. Something appropriate and respectful, I'm sure, but I would pay for that. I'm putting out a bounty here. We want visual bumpers. We want visual bumpers. JK said, talk about CaffeineAI. Have you used Caffeine, Alex?
I've started to look at it a little bit. You sent it to me a little while ago.
I sent it to you. I thought you sent it to me.
One of us sent it to the other one.
Somebody sent it to somebody else. Caffeine is one of the. I remember looking at it. It's like a Replit alternative. Do you use it, JK? And do you think it's all right? I think this is the next frontier of like agentic workflows. It's going to be like Replit's still a strong leader. But Caffeine is one I looked at and liked. And there was another one I feel like I sent to everybody, and I watched their demo. They did a, Steve Jobs style product demo. It was fantastic. So more to come on that. If you want to check them out, that's at CaffeineAI over on X, or you can just go to caffeine.ai. I don't know if there are any costs or anything like that to get started. So let us know what you think about it, JK. Fully deployed apps on ICP. Oh, hey, very cool. Shout out for ICP. What have we been saying, Alex? They need a killer app, man. Could this be it?
I mean, there are some really cool things over there. I'll say the same thing about ICP that I always say. It would be real cool if they would spend any amount of effort to tell anyone on Earth about anything that's happening there. I don't know. This is one of those weird things where ICP has built some really cool shit. There's some really interesting tech that's over there that's pretty singular as far as the entire industry goes, and almost no one knows anything about it because they don't believe they have to tell anyone anything. But to be honest, I think that's just because they're very comfy exactly where they are, which is receiving enough volume to stay in business forever. They get to do their research. They get to build super geeky things that are really cool, and no one bothers them.
Yeah, it's free for now. Free for now, we get from JK. But they're going to charge for it. So imagine a world, Alex, where ICP has this killer product. Everybody's using it all the time. Does that necessarily mean the token's going to go up in value?
It might.
It might.
It literally, who knows? It literally, there's no point in me speculating on that because it could not. It's at the whims of the manipulators at this point. There's nothing else driving the price of ICP at this point. It would just be speculation based on it's been a while. Maybe someone accidentally finds out about something they're doing. Just to push back against the John says, I completely forgot about ICP. Yep, exactly. JK says, same as ETH in the beginning. My question would be, how many years long is the beginning? Because ICP was not born yesterday, and it's quite literally always been this way. What's interesting is they're actually walking backwards away from things that have like broader usability for a more generalized audience. And they are like hyper niched on very like tech forward things. What I mean by that, there used to be a pretty robust grants program from Dfinity. I know because I applied and probably would have gotten one if I had decided to continue and follow through with it. Because they really kind of turned away from more consumer applications. There was a push towards gaming. There was some pretty sweet games being made. Actually, one of my favorite blockchain games that I've ever played in my life was over there. It was very like kind of Golden Sun dungeon crawlery, like, you know, ancient old school RuneScape sort of thing. It was really cool. There's been some like early days of NFTs. There were some really neat projects that were being made over there using NFTs in interesting ways. I always think about like the Bitcoin flowers, which was pretty cool. It was like a reactive to the price of Bitcoin NFT that like was constantly kind of changing to reflect price updates. A fun, interesting fact about ICP that kind of makes it different, right? Like pretty much everything. I'm not quite like read in enough or enough of a wannabe engineer to say confidently everything or almost everything or what specifically, but most shit is like pretty on chain, including like APIs and front ends and different UIs and apps that are built and stuff, as opposed to like your Polygon and your Ethereum or your, Avalanche, your Solana's, like all this kind of stuff, which does like contract and consensus on chain. But then like apps and front ends and UIs and stuff like that are all often hosted elsewhere, built elsewhere, versus the way that ICP does it, which is like way geekier. It's just kind of one of those things. But like for everything that I just said, that's neat, and like everything that's over there, that's cool, because building stuff over there is really not that hard. There's a lot of developer resources. There's a robust developer community that will help you do stuff. It literally is going to be stuck where it is forever, with maybe minimal growth as like people who are really out there discover it organically. And sure, that can be like a really strong conversion, but in general, it's just going to languish where it is, which again, Dfinity is very comfortable with because they're doing just fine. They've cracked the stay in business forever model with a token.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. If you don't have a brand, if you don't build awareness, if you don't convert the casual user to do something with your product, especially when it's a network like this, you're not going to go anywhere. You have no hope for real adoption if you don't tell the masses that you exist. They're not just going to show up. So you can have the coolest thing ever. It literally doesn't matter.
Look at this, Alex. We heard in the comments from JK, the price is up over 100% in the last couple of days. My screen share is just taking a little bit of a delay, but the chart is just pew through the roof. And Aztec, our friend, hello, was saying, should I buy some or wait for a retracement? And if you're trying to buy into this pump, then you know what? I have to tell you, that's exactly what they want you to do.
It's a trap.
And by they, I mean the people walking up to you like,
Hey there, normies.
so don't buy right now. If you believed in ICP, if you believe in ICP right now, you got to ask yourself, why didn't you buy it here? And if it went up, it probably will come down again. But just look at this chart. Okay. Look at this.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you're dealing with. This is the Godzilla-ist chart I have ever seen in my life. Every single, like a lot of these people, they got rid of it. And all the people who buy these pumps, because it's hard to see on a long zoomed out time frame, podcast land, basically what happens is every few years we get a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And then the mountain is an opportunity for people who've been holding for a long time to sell. And then you get another mountain. And then a new group of people, Papa Aztec, say, oh my gosh, it's the perfect time to buy.
Yep.
And they become the bag holders.
So listen, just in answer the comment, stack as much ICP as you can. If you do that, please listen to me. This is financial advice. Okay? Don't be afraid to take some goddamn profit when it pays you. Okay? Don't round trip that shit. It's not reliable. You can see through years of chart history that that's exactly what Evan just described is exactly how it goes. This goes for everything. Okay? If you're buying XRP because it's the next big thing and it's going to revolutionize global payments or whatever they keep saying while every other company takes their lunch money, please pay yourself when it goes out. Okay? Please, like if you've been stacking ICP for years, you have an average price of $4 or $5, whatever it's been languishing at forever, and then it goes to $7, consider paying yourself something. if you believe in it, don't sell the whole thing. Keep some. But like, pay yourself a little bit, because none of it's guaranteed. And we could get another October 10th. Right? Like we're dancing on a knife edge economically here. So just please keep that in mind. Please remember to reward yourself when you have conviction that pays off and you nail something. But if you don't, then it literally means nothing.
Shout out to Jonathan Green on Twitter, who's talking about being a developer there. I just wanted to surface this comment for everybody who won't get to see it. The issue I ran into as a developer that built projects on ICP was the foundation, meaning Dfinity, building on the application level and competing with their ecosystem devs. And we've kind of seen this before, that like the foundation, as Alex said, they really issue the token and they kind of control the money. A lot of crypto companies did it this way to avoid being pinged as securities, not necessarily because that's what the law clarified they had to do, but just because some companies did that and didn't get in trouble. So people were like, okay, this is what we'll do. We'll have, ICP will be launched by the Dfinity Foundation, and then they will fund development in our ecosystem, and that won't make us a security. It'll be great. The problem is, this happened with us over on the blockchain formerly known as Elrond. When that company controls the money, they're responsible for issuing the grants. They're responsible for what gets highlighted, what doesn't, what gets shared, what doesn't. It's an open network that anyone can build on, but the token holders, the treasury owners, really have a ton of power. And if they fund their own team instead of funding an app the community suggests or somebody wants to build, it's kind of like, you told me I could build here, but you didn't give me any water or other resources,
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say, you can't say that about Elrond, because never once have they issued a grant to anybody for anything. They're like the only ecosystem that was like, we don't need grants. You want a grant?
Stinking grants.
Go away. Oh, you're just one of our good friends? Yeah, we'll just pay you under the table. You can do whatever you want with the money. Just for the record, because I don't know. I think about this sometimes when we're like going on a spiel about, like the downsides of something that kind of makes it sound like, not a fan. I want to make it very clear. Like, I think ICP is really cool. I genuinely do. I have for years. Go back in time. Okay. I'm very hyper aware of what it takes to make a network successful, and it's multifaceted. You can't just have one thing. There are examples of ecosystems, networks, blockchains, whatever, crypto projects, protocols, currencies, whatever, that have one of the things that you need to be successful. There are a very few that have like all of the things. Those things are the ones that are at the top of every list, because you have a brand, you have awareness, you have retention. There's something exciting that keeps people there. It doesn't really matter what it is. There's something that, gets people to use the network. There are genuinely good pieces and bits of technology being worked on, experimented with, broken and repaired and all that kind of stuff. There's grants programs, there's growth initiatives. There are people who actually know how to publicly speak and have some sort of media training, talking about it, explaining it to people, whatever. All these things together have to be there before you can have like real success. Otherwise, you could have something that is technologically incredibly interesting. I would love to help ICP tell their story, because it's very interesting. It's really cool. The single biggest detriment is that worst price chart in crypto. That will keep more people out than anything else. So if you don't have some sort of marketing and messaging strategy designed to tell the story and help people think about literally anything else other than what Evan showed you, the worst price chart in history, an asset that is literally down 99%, and that's what it looks like if you go zoom all the way out. Why would most people look further? Because like JK, I thought the bumper sticker that you posted was beautiful, like perfect, full stack compute on chain.
Yep.
4 words. No one knows what that means. And if that's where it stops, you're just going to lose most people for whom that doesn't really matter, because you have to appeal to someone who's not just an engineer. You have to do both. That's why a grant program for building incentives is a requirement. If you don't have that, if you're not incentivizing engineers and builders to come over and make stuff, you're screwing that up. Dfinity has a grants program. But
it's got to be a transparent, because like who controls that, and how do they set the prices? And like that's the other
the grants.
Yeah. And
sure.
What committee that determines who gets them? And at the end of the day, you know how it is, Alex. If I come to you and say, Alex, can you do me a favor? You're going to do it because we're pals. And because you hope that I give you more points on the Rise Up After Dark show game.
Yeah,
but
I'm insider trading Rise Up After Dark points.
Absolutely. But if Joe Schmo, on the street comes up and they start by flipping you off and then they say, oh, I forgot, can I borrow $1? You'd be like, no, tell your story walking, pal. So I think there's a lot of that, even though we're like trustless and decentralized.
Yeah.
Octant is one of my like favorite examples. I love what they've done. I love what Goldham Foundation has done. I think more stuff like that needs to happen, where it's like token holders actually have a say. It happens on chain. Money is distributed.
But the key difference there is that Octant now is going through like and this is not the first time that I'm not going to say like they just figured out. They've done this before. An awareness building campaign wherein they are incentivizing people to bring in people. That's the ultimate like two-prong, right? You have to incentivize the builders to put something there, and then you have to help them get people to use the thing they built. Engineers cannot all be marketers. It's unbelievably slanted and unfair that every blockchain ecosystem, for the most part, basically stops at like bringing in founders like, hey, getting users is your problem. Nope. That should be a partial responsibility on the foundation or the lab. Like the people who have the resources and ability to hire marketers and messengers and communications people and media people and all that kind of stuff. You can't like expect every coder who you need to build a robust ecosystem to also be a marketer. No one has the time for that. That's how you get burnout and flame out. And that's why all these ecosystems die, because they bring in the engineer and they expect them to do literally everything. Community management, comms, marketing, PR, media. Oh, and also just build everything from scratch with a toolkit that's like being built also thanks to you.
So my big takeaways from this are we need to try CaffeineAI. Also, shout out to Jonathan Green, who suggested we look at what Arweave is doing with AI. And if you want to take advantage of hype tokens like Dash or ICP, I think maybe the best way to capitalize is not to buy a bunch of the token to speculate, but fund some liquidity. Be the person who is earning the fees on everybody else buying and selling the token. That's what you can do. It's a great way to do it. I want to pivot, Alex, if we can, to a couple other things. Is that okay before we ride our dogs and ponies? Because we have beaten ICP like we hate it. The first thing is to shout.
I was talking about literally everything. I'm just using
I know you were.
We had there's a lot of requests for it.
Really
right. I mean, hey, price is up.
Nick wasn't here. Where was
I know
Nick?
He really missed out.
Nick
His ears
Johnson,
are burning somewhere.
over on TikTok is like, no.
Everyone in the TikTok audience needs to do me a favor, and next time Nick pops in, just make sure he knows that he missed the entire ICP segment. That we
But he's probably doing okay, because ICP, he's a big time holder. I hope he's like buying himself some ice cream today.
Nick, you better be taking a profit. I swear to God.
Jim profits. Okay. The thing I wanted to pivot to first was to shout out everybody who's watching right now on the Arena. I'm talking about arena.social for all of you. Wow, that was a painful combination of sound effects. My thumb accidentally hit the when I was at full volume, and you can't do an air horn on full volume at 7:45 in the morning. But that's how excited I am to see people over there. Arena is such a cool place because it's kind of like Twitter meets TikTok in terms of like a live video feed that you can do for your live events. But my favorite part is the integration with crypto. And you can do tipping. So like right now, I am clicking through and tipping all the people who show up and say hi in the comments, just like, $1. And I think this will be a great way for us to do giveaways in the future. Like when we do a giveaway for, I don't know, 25 USDC to somebody who wins a contest or whatever it is, then we could do it easy here on the Arena. So shout out to everybody watching. Thank you for the engagement, the shares. If you're on Arena, Rise Up is your place for helpful crypto news, commentary, answers to your questions, none of the hype, all the helpful stuff. We're here Monday through Thursday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, which now, thanks to Daylight Savings Time, is 1 p.m. UTC. We're live for Rise Up After Dark, Rise Up Market Watch at other times during the week, and you can get all the links, our schedule, everything else, and so much more if you head to community.rumshq.com. That's where we've got the details about all the different offers from all of our cool sponsors, like the Polygon UGC content contest. We've got the codes so that you can get a discount on an Arculus wallet or sign up for the Rums co-branded purple wallet that's coming soon. You can get the codes, you can get that. Our friends from Unlock Protocol are in there. We got to get the Jito people in there. I'm hoping we can get some conversations going around staking Sol. And the White Whale is in there. He's below the surface in the depths, mostly because he's got a lot of Twitter going on. But it's a great place to be. And the only thing missing is you. Super quick and easy to join. We would love to see you there. And if you're not on Arena yet, go create a platform at arena.social. We were talking to Brandon, our friend who got us there yesterday, and maybe we'll be able to get the Arena founders on and also some of the Avalanche people on the show. That would be pretty cool, huh?
Mm-hmm. Emin is a very interesting individual. Goes all the way back to the beginning days of Bitcoin consensus building. It's really cool.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I love talking to people like that, because one of the tragedies of our space is that the people travel in concentric circles. If you got here in the NFT boom, you may not be familiar with the DeFi summer people, and they are maybe not familiar with the Bitcoin OG community, and it's inclusive and you're invited, but you know, we got to do the work of connecting the people. Now, one of the things I wanted to get into kind of at the end here, Alex. Oh, go ahead.
Can I inject a quick thing, just because I'm sure this applies to more people, but I wanted to highlight a comment from David Thompson over on TikTok. The question was, is XRP a hold? I'm concerned. My reply was, well, if you're up, consider profits. And he said, I am. That's why I'm concerned. So this applies to literally everything. Okay, we can use XRP as the example, but this applies to all of it. If that's how you feel, that is the gut check sign that it's time to take profit. It's time to sell something, because that feeling is because you're overinvested, or it's because your conviction is not as strong as maybe someone else told you it should be. So if you have an asset and it goes up and you're, kind of bullied by social pressure into staying in that position either longer than you want to, or to a higher degree than you're really comfortable with, it's time to de-risk. And de-risking does not mean sell the entire position and go away. It means maybe if you have 100 of these tokens, sell 30 of them. Whatever it is. I'm just making up numbers here. But that right there, listen to that. And I would agree with Machinery here. XRP, those holders, that community is one that is full of social pressure. There's a lot of bullies in that ecosystem.
Big time.
Whose only motivation is to convince you that you are an idiot if you get out of it in any way, shape, or form. And again, maybe it's going to rip. Maybe it's going to explode. Maybe it's going to go to $10. Maybe it's whatever. Who knows? So don't sell the whole thing if you have belief in that. But if you feel uncomfortable with an investment, that's a sign that you need to change something about it. You should listen to that feeling, because otherwise you will probably regret it.
I don't think I could have said it better.
I'm starting off next Wednesday with one in the chamber.
Oh, okay. All right. I can dig it. I wanted to run through a couple of fast facts since Rudo couldn't be here, but since we are telling you to go post Polygon-related content and get that money because it's essentially free. If you're on a crypto social media platform, if you care about crypto, if you are a content creator or you're thinking about becoming one, then the secret sauce is find opportunities like Arena or like the Polygon UGC contest that will pay you without requiring you to be a speculator. That won't require gambling, but will just give you something for your time, for your effort, and also give you the opportunity to practice a skill, a valuable skill like researching crypto projects, networking with other users, builders, and creating content. So here are just a couple of things. I'm going to put all these links in the show notes, but I'm going to just rapid fire kind of read through them. These are facts that Rudo shared with us and examples of pieces of content that you could be creating. Of course, some of these come from official Polygon accounts, so they're not eligible for the contest, but you could have made this. This is a tweet from Polygon that says, P2P, meaning peer-to-peer, stablecoin volumes on Polygon hit an all-time high of $5.6 billion in September. Polygon is becoming the default rail for everyday payments. And they've got a picture of Polygon stablecoin volumes by category.
Can I just rug you really quick to say, if you're seeing this and you're kind of immediately like writing off the thing because you have never made a video before, you're not sure where to get started, but you are theoretically interested in participating, because again, there's like a decent chunk of money to be won by participating in this. And like I said, the barrier to entry on this thing is really, really low right now. Let us know. I would love to help anybody who wants to learn some basics on putting a video together and posting something get started. So would Evan.
And I just want to remind you, we've got this thread at community.rumshq.com. Win an extra $100 for your Polygon content. We will pick somebody at random who submits and somebody from the premium community who submits. You can find this at community.rumshq.com. This would be a great place to post in the comments to say, hey, I'm thinking about a video. And remember, it doesn't have to be a video. It's just got to be content, social content using these hashtags. You could write a thread on Twitter. You could post something on the Arena app. You don't have to be on video if you're not comfortable with that. You could make a piece of content with Sora. The options are limitless. You just have to do it.
Yep.
Now, here's another one. Still sending money the old way. It's time to upgrade your money. Here's like a cute, fun commercial that honestly, somebody could probably prompt with AI. That could be fun. It's got a bunch of little tidbits. Send money anywhere. 10% fee, -% fee, whatever, no waiting in line. Like, this is a cute concept. Hopefully it will inspire you. This doesn't even have anything to do with crypto,
As it should, as it should.
I absolutely love that.
I dig it.
Let's reshape global payment rails once and for all. And then they've got this one.
I actually really like that campaign.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, I'm a fan of that. Which is really exciting because generally crypto commercials are fucking terrible.
Yeah. Crypto commercials suck. So shout out Polygon for making a better one. They've got another one here. If you're making on-chain payments in Latin America, you're already on Polygon. More stablecoins in the continent are moving on Polygon than on all other EVM chains combined. Aishwarya Gupta, head of payments, exchanges, and stablecoins, and so much more, I think, over at Polygon, was on the show when he told us that over 50% of micropayments in USDC happen on Polygon.
Correct.
Easy stat that you can make a video about. That's a big deal. People care about RWAs. What's the biggest real world asset? Probably dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Also, more about payments. Transfer volume up another 20% to an all-time high, alongside on and off-ramp volume, people turning their dollars into crypto and back. Card use volume. This is from a Dune dashboard that just shows over time. This is almost $1 billion of app transfer volume for payments apps on Polygon. Oh, and there's us. Those are just a few examples of the kind of content that you could make a video about, a stat like that. And if you need more information and examples to get started, Alex, do you happen to have it pinned? I'm looking for the website Rudo sent us because I don't know it off the top of my head. I believe it's paul.polygon.technology. I'm right, baby. This is a website that will give you information like the stuff that we just shared, not only about their ecosystem, about their token, about the projects building there, but about the UGC campaign and how you can get started. So you really, if you watch this segment of the show and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe we just did a 5-minute segment about this content contest, and you aren't considering making a video, this is wasted time. If you want to capitalize on this, get some free money. After the show, go make your video.
Like I said, we'll literally help you make the content.
Or write a blog post. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it could be anything. It could be how to start staking. Use Polygon as an example. How to swap a token. We're going to use Polygon as an example. How to avoid scams. You could probably find a scam or a scheme in the comments of one of these posts, and teach somebody to avoid it. It doesn't even have to be about like buy this token. In fact, I think they and we would prefer it was not. But if you're not doing it, what are you doing? Now, Alex, we are going to be here for just a couple more minutes. I'm going to close the show down about 10 minutes from now. We'll ride our dogs and ponies into the sunset, and we'll head over to the Circle After Show at the bottom of the hour, 30 past. You can get the link at community.rumshq.com. What kind of things are we hearing in the comments? What would you like to address before we get out of here for the week?
Well, let me do a quick scan. I had pulled up a little handful of headlines that might be worth looking at. I think, though, I was just gonna share talking about payment rails and upgrade your money. I had a couple of interesting conversations with people that I know who are not into crypto, are not into the whole thing, who have heard about it from me, and then something more negative and shilly and scammy and pyramid schemey from the general zeitgeist. But the thing that came up several times over this weekend as we're all hanging out was oftentimes there's a reason why I need to send money to one of my friends post dinner, whatever, someone forgot a wallet, yada yada, whatever, and everyone's using Venmo, for the most part, and we're literally describing a process that is exactly the same. Like we're getting to the point where the friction and the usability of any of these like hot wallet platforms, for example, just sending USDC back and forth, are just as painless as Venmo. It's the exact same experience. You still have to create an account. If you're using Venmo, you still have to link a bank account, right? You still have to confirm you're sending something to the right person, confirm with their phone number. It's a very similar, familiar process. The difference is that instead of just like holding dollars and hemorrhaging money to inflation and debasement, you can do all kinds of stuff with it. And so all the conversations I had over the weekend about this were all just like, don't need to go any further than a stable coin, and here's where you could earn some crazy interest that I guarantee is better than your bank. And every single person was like, oh, okay, you don't have to buy you don't have to buy shit. It's still $1, just a better dollar. Because dollar could use some help.
Dollar could use some help, dude. I'm trying to get rid of my dollars and turn them into Bitcoin so fast. On this dip, I was thinking to myself, oh, I've got dollars set aside for I'm saving for the wedding. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. And I was just thinking to myself, like, man, will I ever get the opportunity to buy Bitcoin below $100,000 again? And I don't know that I will. Oh, man. We had a good question here in the comments about whether or not the Supreme Court will reverse the Trump tariffs. And I was going to totally defer to you. I have absolutely no idea what's going on there. I have too much stuff to keep up with. I know they're going to tell me. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I'll hear the headlines. But I hear that there was some pretty sharp questioning happening. And of course, when there's a lot of interest and attention on one issue, it makes you wonder, like, what are we not paying attention to that matters? Those are my only thoughts on it, really. Do you have any other additional thoughts?
Yeah, I think it deserves extra focus because not only is the actual authority to impose something like that unilaterally being called to question, which is the basis for the Supreme Court hearing, which, for the record, if you listen to any of the questioning, could not be established. None of those questions could be answered from multiple justices, including the conservative ones. I will also say, though, that even the conservative justices at this point have a habit of, like, really taking it to whoever is taking the questions and then writing an opinion that doesn't at all jive with what they were talking about in their questioning. So I would say that what we saw in the hearing means effectively nothing. The Supreme Court is going to go the direction that it goes. Right now, I don't really have an overabundance of faith in them to do the right thing because they're consistently not. But the authority for tariff application was already shot down by more than one federal judge. Of course, that's a whole other thing. So I don't know. I think that it should also be looked at just because we're weaponizing the application of a tariff to manipulate markets. We're not just doing it. I mean, these things are not actually even getting applied. They're just being like tossed out in a tweet and then the market reacts and then we kind of forget about it, and move on. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of problems there. But like you said, Supreme Court will figure out whatever it is they feel like doing. It's going to mean effectively nothing. And then we'll carry on just not caring about the law anymore.
Yeah, I wish I had a better answer for it. For all the folks on TikTok, I saw Exit Velo make a comment about Arculus. I think they were responding to me pouring coffee out of my Arculus mug. They got the gray Arculus instead of the black one, which prompts me to remind you, if you're listening to the show on TikTok, I have pinned their card in the live. It should be visible to you. You can buy directly from Arculus through social media. And if you buy an Arculus wallet because you or someone you love needs cold storage, use the code on TikTok shop ARC, A-R-C, U, the letter U, RUMS 10 to get 10% off. You can also get these at getarculus.com, or in the community, you can fill out that form. Thank you, Tori, for pinning it in the public forum about reserving your spot on the Arculus RUMS co-branded purple wallet waitlist. We've got, I think, about 36 people on the waitlist so far. Very excited. I'd love to see how high we can get that number. If you're waiting to pull the trigger on cold storage, we think Arculus is great. There are lots of great options, but we're partnering with them because we love what they do. That reminds me, I'm writing myself a note. We got to get them on the show again. We had Dr. Adam Lowe on. It was one of my favorite conversations we've hosted. But I need to write that down. Dr. Adam Lowe. And it might be fun to have some of the ladies from the team on too. Maybe Ariana would want to come on and we can introduce her to the audience. Or I just love Ezra. She's got such great energy. I know they're all busy doing stuff, but Arculus, if you're watching, we'd like you on the show. And also, Alex, I need to follow up an email with Ave, who we talk about a lot, to get them on the show. They're on TikTok too. And I happened to talk to them a little bit, and they said, oh, maybe we could come on. So we can bring them to the people who watch on Facebook, to the people who watch on Twitter, to the people who watch on Instagram. You can get in touch with Aave. They're a great protocol, aave.com. If you're
the
looking
biggest DeFi protocol on earth.
Bigger than many banks, actually. Yeah. Like, I think by bank size, I feel like they're number 27 is what I read in terms of like total deposits or whatever. So not too shabby.
I am a big fan of this.
Alex, I'm going to ask you, have you got a final thought? Is there a question you want to answer in the comments, or something you want to share that I didn't ask you about today before we ride our dogs and ponies into the after show sunset?
I would just reiterate that if you are watching an investment that you have and you don't feel good about it, that's a great sign that you need to make an adjustment to it. Not to say that you should knee-jerk rush into making a bad adjustment, but that should be what you're thinking about. Like, okay, I don't feel good about this. What would make me feel better about it? And then how am I going to get to that position? If that's, man, I really believe in this thing and I don't own enough of it, and I also can't really afford to, then, that would be the plan I'd be working on. If you own too much of something and it's making you nervous and you're up, then I would be looking at reducing the size. So just listen. If I've learned one thing after all this time, it's listen to your gut, because it's much more likely to lead you in the right direction than lead you astray. That's what I've found.
A final thought worth thoughting.
And an answer to the question, how do you express interest in the purple wallet in our free to join circle, community.rumshq.com. There's a pinned post in the public forum where you can sign on a Google form to say that you would like one.
Yeah, when you get to the community,
building up the interest, it's
going to drop you in a channel called Start Here. You basically, you put in an email. You can use a spoof email. You don't have to give us your real name, but this is a platform called Circle, which is a little safer than Discord and honestly a little easier to use. You'll be dropped into a channel called Start Here that gives you all kinds of helpful information. It's totally free to join. It'll tell you the purpose of the community. There are all these blue clickable links that will take you to the different channels we mentioned. That'll show you how to create a profile. It's like your 101 walkthrough FAQ, and then that tells you what all the different channels do. We've also got premium memberships, so that if you are somebody who wants to accelerate your learning journey, you want to get coaching from me or Alex or Will, you want to hang out with the most advanced and dedicated members of our learning community, you can try it free for 10 days. Comes with a lot of perks, a lot of free downloadable stuff, discounts on every service that we sell. And then it's just $30 a month. Plus you get entered into all kinds of extra, drawings, giveaways, things like that. In the public forum, which is accessible by the little menu on the left, right at the top, there's a post that Tori made. Interested? Arculus and Rum's purple wallet. You can click the little link to fill out a very short, quick Google form. We're not going to share any of your data. We're just going to use this to email you when it is time to make an order. And I will close out on this question from Bucko. Hey, Bucko, who says, do you guys have more than one active cold wallet? Is at least 2 a good standard? I don't know about you, Alex, but I've used a couple of different cold wallets, mostly to like try them. And the ones that I have that are active are this Ledger Nano, and it's a Nano X. Looks like a little thumb drive for people listening in podcast land. It's got 2 buttons on it and a small little screen. And my Arculus wallet. And I think you could have as many cold wallets as you need depending on what your purpose is. Like if you are somebody who has crypto tokens that aren't supported on one of these wallets and you want to keep them for the long term, hold them offline, whatever, then maybe you would need multiple devices. Or if you liked the user experience of a cold wallet and you wanted to have one wallet that held your long-term secure stuff, but you also wanted to use a cold wallet as your DeFi wallet, your staking wallet, I would want those personally to be separate wallets, because I wouldn't want to be doing DeFi stuff and clicking to sign into protocols with the wallet that has my Bitcoin for retirement on it, just in case I make a mistake. How about you, Alex?
Yeah, I think it's just a security thing for me. That would be the consideration. A cold wallet, a single one, is just as hard to get into as 6, but it's more likely that one could be compromised than all 6 if you had more than one. That came up in Circle the other day. Someone was asking about like maintaining multiple Arculus cards in the same app, which you can do, which is kind of cool. But for me, I would just say like, hey, if this is a long-term position, I'd be absolutely devastated to lose it. And I do have my seed phrases written down and it's in a safe somewhere, or it's stored here or there, whatever. It is still possible that it could be compromised. If that makes you nervous, then I would add a wallet or 2 and split the holdings up into a couple different camps and store the seed phrases in different places. You can escalate the amount of paranoia that you apply to your personal operational security, and a little bit of paranoia there goes a long way. Or you certainly don't have to. I would say there's nothing wrong with either way. It's more about like what makes you feel comfortable.
I would agree. And my final thought is to say thank you for making us comfortable here, for being the very best part of what we do. It's been a great week of shows, and we'll be back next week for more. If you want to join the after show, this is your last chance. You can find the link in the bio. You can type it directly into your browser, community.rumshq.com. And a final shout out to Unlock Protocol, to Jito, to Polygon, to Arculus, to the White Whale for powering the Rise Up morning show.
I am a big fan of this.
And always to you. Yes, you, for being the very best part of what we do. Thank you so much. Until next time, everybody, stay safe, be well, my friends.